slowed by a car blocking a hydrant. The Herculean effort by firefighters to get water flowing to their hoses.
Healing through knitting. Churches nationwide unite to create something very special for runners crossing the finish line on Boylston Street.
Local medical schools matched up with sick children. The new program changing lives and helping kids recover.
Plus, taking over The Late Show, Stephen Colbert is replacing David Letterman. How it's changing the landscape of television.
Live from our studios in Boston, WBZ News at 5 starts right now.
We begin with breaking news. A terror threat for Americans abroad and here at home. I'm Paula Evans.
And I'm Jonathan Elias. The State Department issued an alert about new terror attacks and kidnappings involving Americans. Lisa Hughes now with a closer look at these warnings. Lisa?
Well, Jonathan and Paula, the State Department put out the warning late this afternoon. The threat, again, coming from Al-Qaeda and its affiliates. These are groups kidnapping Westerners as a way to finance their operations. And this is a worldwide caution that's been issued, which means it also applies to the United States. The State Department warning these attacks could include suicides, assassinations, kidnappings, hijackings, and bombings. Terrorists could use both conventional and unconventional weapons to target high-profile sporting events, places of worship, even shopping malls, tourist destinations, and more. The list is long. The State Department urging anyone planning to travel abroad to sign up for the Smart Traveler Enrollment Program, or STEP. That will help keep you up to date on any safety or security announcements. It's a lot to process and not good news, Jonathan.
All right, Lisa, thanks. Ignoring this sign, that put Boston firefighters at risk. A man who parked his new BMW at a fire hydrant slowed the battle to save an East Boston home. Firefighters took action. They had to move the car a little, then they had to bust the window so they could thread a fire hose right through the car. Now, that fire in East Boston grew to 8 alarms, meaning this was a very big fire, before crews were able to get the flames under control.
Thank goodness in the end no one was hurt, but nearly 3 dozen people have to find a new place to live now. Christina Hager is live in East Boston tonight. Christina?
Well, Paula, notice there is nothing in front of this fire hydrant on Trenton Street right now. There is some broken glass on the pavement where Boston firefighters say they did what they had to do to protect the city. It's the price of parking in front of a fire hydrant. Not only did the owner get a $100 fine, but look at the BMW he just bought. Registration only 2 days old.
He was 9.
Rafael Enriquez is friends with the car's owner. He watched last night as firefighters busted through the windows to hook their hose into the hydrant.
I want to cry for him. Because if I, worked hard for that car, and I seen somebody just come out of nowhere, and, I know the person, I seen the person, demolish the car, I would want to, I would want to hit him, but, of course, he brought that upon himself.
In fact, Boston firefighters say the only thing on their minds was getting water as quickly as possible to this scene on Lexington Street, at that point fully engulfed. And since it had gone to 8 alarms, all the closer hydrants were taken, this one a block away.
You don't want to lose the full force of the water you're getting from the hydrant. So it's important to be as straight as possible.
It still had a kink after they got it hooked up, so bystanders pitched in and helped firefighters lift and bounce it away from the curb.
You can move a car a short distance, which is what they did to get the kink out. And again, this is all effort that should be concentrated on putting the fire out.
Back at the scene, firefighters traced the source to the engine of this Toyota parked in an alley, spreading fire to 3 nearby buildings, leaving residents like Jamie Hernandez homeless.
We're trying to figure it out where we're going to stay, and for now, my friend offered me shelter at her house.
About 30 residents like him now displaced. No sign of the BMW. Police and fire officials say they did not have it towed. Apparently it's drivable, and the owner drove it off someplace. 2 busted windows and a dent on the side. In East Boston, Christina Hager, WBZ News. Jonathan, back to you.
Christina, thank you. And tonight, fire investigators are trying to figure out what sparked this early morning fire at a multifamily home in Lawrence. Now, the raging fire gutted the 2.5-story building. The people who lived there made it out safely, but this was a very dangerous situation. Exploding oxygen tanks inside the building forced firefighters to stay back.
The guys were a bit gun shy. They were exploding as they were trying to get in the building, so eventually back out of the building and we'll go into a area of firefighting.
And if that wasn't enough as far as problems went, large trees in the front yard were also a challenge. Firefighters had a tough time getting equipment close to the home. Tonight, the Red Cross is helping the 2 families left homeless.
As the one-year mark of the marathon bombing approaches, a flurry of government reports are raising questions about law enforcement actions leading up to the attack. John Keller joins us now with a soon-to-be-released report from the Obama administration. John?
Well, Paula, the Inspector General's Office for the Intelligence Community, which oversees 17 separate agencies, hasn't made that new report public. But while there are accounts the FBI has been cleared of any major mishandling of the case, from Moscow to Washington to Boston, it seems there's plenty of information that simply fell through the cracks. According to the New York Times, the report claims that after initially cooperating with U.S. officials, the Russians stopped sharing information about Tamerlan Tsarnaev until after the bombing, including a wiretapped phone call between Tamerlan and his mother discussing violent jihad.
That's information that everybody would have liked to have been aware of, no question.
WBZ security analyst Ed Davis says he's unsurprised by another report finding that Boston area FBI agents didn't follow up as aggressively as possible on what the Russians did give us.
This is highly suspect information. You're in a game between countries that there's not a lot of black and white there. There's a lot of shadows, so it's difficult to figure out exactly what you're dealing with.
But the Inspector General also points out lapses within the Joint Terrorism Task Force, assembled to enhance interagency communication, including failure to properly document Tamerlan's movements, and even an inability to recognize names in the Russian alphabet.
Those are the type of things that if there was one database that we all worked off of, it might trigger something. So it's disappointing that not everybody knows everything, but it's very difficult to build a system like that.
Everyone sort of dropped the ball with the Boston Marathon. I mean, it shouldn't have happened, right? And so, but we can't go back. All we can do is learn. So everyone should be looking at these reports to see how they can do better, how they can share information better, and how we can hopefully prevent the next attack.
Meanwhile, there's a separate report today of an attempted name change by Tamerlan Tsarnaev, which could have been a major red flag of his intentions. What happened and how it points to what experts are calling a Whitey Bulger-style defense plan for Jahar Tsarnaev. All that's coming up at 6. Paula, back to you.
John, thank you so much. And the ACLU is suing the FBI and the U.S. Attorney in Boston to get more information about a federal task force based in the state. It wants details about the investigation into Ibrahim Chodashev, the Florida man who was shot and killed while being questioned about his connection to Boston Marathon bombing suspect Tamerlan Tsarnaev. The ACLU first asked for the documents under the Freedom of Information Act.
All right, let's change gears now. You talk about a picture-perfect day outside. This was one for the books.
Warm weather, sunshine. We want it to continue, but Willet's Chief Meteorologist Eric Fish is here now with the AccuWeather forecast. Hey, Eric.
Hey there, Paula. Good evening, everybody. In some ways, it will continue. In other ways, it'll change up a little bit as we head into tomorrow. It's all clear skies right now. The next storm that we're watching, big one, sprawling out toward Hudson Bay. Will front right in here with clouds and the showers. Those will be moving in by later on tonight. The main issue for this evening is the wind. Very gusty. Gust of 30 in Boston as well as Worcester and Providence. Lawrence up around 29 miles per hour. It'll stay breezy through the evening and into the overnight. It's going to keep our temperatures up in the 40s. Clouds start to roll in after midnight. There could be a couple of sprinkles later on this evening as we get toward tomorrow morning. Not a lot of rain with this next front, though. Double dip for sky watchers. You've got Mars that's rising in the east tonight, and at 7:51, look west. You're going to get an International Space Station flyby. We've got the clear skies. A great evening to do that. A little more cloud cover, a little more rain in the forecast after this, though. We'll take you through the weekend coming up in a few minutes. Jonathan?
Derek, thank you. Randolph police are investigating an accident that killed a teenage boy. Just after 10 o'clock this morning, a small white box truck hit the 17-year-old walking in Crawford Square. Paramedics rushed the teen to a local hospital where the boy died.
It may be late in the season, but Boston health officials are saying the number of flu cases are on the rise. Boston saw more than 100 new cases of influenza B between March 30th and April 5th. This flu season, more than 25% of flu patients in this city did have to be hospitalized. Well, tonight, Scott Brown will make it official. He is running for the U.S. Senate seat in New Hampshire.
Brown, who served as U.S. Senator for 2 years in Massachusetts, will launch his campaign in Portsmouth. New Hampshire Bureau Chief Michael Rosenfield joins us live from there tonight with this information. Michael?
Jonathan, that announcement taking place tonight here at the Sheraton Hotel in Portsmouth, close to where Scott Brown was born. He says after touring the state for roughly a month or so, he is ready to jump in the race. Out of the U.S. Senate for over a decade, Bob Smith wants to go back, saying the incumbent Jeanne Shaheen is not right for New Hampshire. What's wrong with Jeanne Shaheen?
Well, Jeanne Shaheen's a nice person. We're certainly friendly with each other. We like each other, I think, personally. But there are no two people who could be further apart.
Smith says Shaheen's support for big government is a key difference between the two, and says fellow Republican contender Scott Brown, who enters the race tonight, is more in line with Democrats than Republicans. What do you make of Scott Brown jumping in?
Well, he should be in the Democrat primary. With all due respect, I call him Shaheen Light. I mean, those two couldn't debate. They agree on everything.
Former New Hampshire State Senator Jim Rubens is also a candidate on the Republican side. He says the Republican establishment has lined up behind Brown.
People in this state are sick and tired of Washington career politicians and Washington business as usual. We've got Obamacare that's cut people off from their doctors and hospitals.
In his speech tonight, Brown, who's already made Obamacare a key issue, will say, quote, "I will promise you this, as the senator from New Hampshire, whenever I see that big government mindset in any piece of legislation, I will vote against it 100% of the time." Meantime, New Hampshire's Democratic Party has had a field day blasting Brown for his move from Massachusetts to New Hampshire. Does he know New Hampshire?
Well, certainly not. He did his tour that took 2 weeks to drive around the state of New Hampshire, trying to introduce himself. He stumbled on many occasions.
Scott Brown jumping in means this race takes on national significance and a lot of money beginning to pour in already. In fact, Jeanne Shaheen's campaign already reporting record donations to her team. We're live in Portsmouth, New Hampshire tonight. Michael Rosenfield, WBZ News. Paula?
Definitely going to get busy. Michael, thank you. Well, a crumbling bridge repair work's underway, and tonight the states want you to know that it is safe.
I'm Dr. Mallika Marshall. A student program here at UMass Medical School is helping children get through life-threatening illness.
And Stephen Colbert coming to Late Night. What he's saying about his new gig on CBS.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Friendly's. The Friendly's you once knew is back, with food you love and great memories guaranteed. Come back to Friendly's today. Here's your Peabody Essex Museum Arts Update. See what's on display this week. Experience music in surprising and unexpected ways with this immersive sonic installation featuring 70s zebra finches. Only at the Peabody Essex Museum in Salem, where art and culture meet.
The Toyota Gifts of Spring Savings Event. Receive the lowest lease on an all-wheel drive Venza for just $178 a month with no cost maintenance included. The Gifts of Spring will soon be wrapped up. Toyota, let's go places.
Looks can be deceiving. It's certainly true with furniture. Two items may appear to be the same, but are they? At Boston Interiors, all of the upholstered furniture is made in America. Each piece is crafted with high-grade American hardwood, reinforced block corners, and eco-friendly materials. So when you shop at Boston Interiors, you buy furniture that's great-looking and long-lasting. Visit Boston Interiors today and save during our spring home sale. The smarter you are about furniture, the more you'll love Boston Interiors.
All this week, Reed's Ferry Sheds are 10% off. Every Reed's Ferry Shed, 10% off list price now through next Saturday, April 19th. See 5 acres of sheds on display at Reed's Ferry. Get better quality than the box store and save 10% on the shed price. Go online to reedsferry.com. Order this week and save 10% during the spring sale.
Call 888-85-SHEDS.
10% off a Reed's Ferry Shed. You got a good one.
15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Everybody knows that.
Well, did you know Pinocchio was a bad motivational speaker?
I look around this room and I see nothing but untapped potential. You have potential. You have... Oh boy.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Charles, where's Dad? Doesn't he know we're shooting a new Kia commercial?
I don't know. Maybe he's in the all-new 2014 Kia Sorento.
I'll bet he's behind the wheel of the new Kia Optima. He loves that car.
Let's go find him. Is he over here?
Is he here?
Hey!
You can drive a 2014 Kia Sorento for $129 a month or a brand new Kia Optima for only $99 a month.
Shop us last. You'll love us.
This time of year, a lot of folks call it the Finish Line Church, but really its name is the Old South Church, right there on Boylston.
Old South does a lot of runner-related events every year around the marathon. And as Ken McLeod shows us, the church hatched an idea just a few weeks ago that's gone global.
From Darlene, Caldwell, Idaho.
They've come in from 46 states, not to mention Thailand, Belgium, and Germany.
The love that's been poured into these is palpable.
It was early February when Diane Gosher and a comrade pitched the idea to the Old South Knitters Club here at her church, just 100 feet from the marathon finish line.
And all of a sudden one of them said, I want to wrap the runners in scarves knitted with love and courage.
Scarves, 6 inches wide and 5 feet long, knitted, crocheted, and woven in marathon blue and yellow. But with race day closing in, they turned to the church grapevine for a little help. Old South was hoping to get a few hundred scarves, but lo and behold, more than 6,000 have rolled in, and they're still coming. Indeed, a trickle turned into several boxes per day, more than the mailman could tote.
They now deliver here by truck.
The scarf mission fits perfectly for Old South, which is ringing its bell for the Blast Anniversary service on Boylston Street and hosting its traditional blessing of the runners on Marathon Eve, Easter Sunday.
We will reclaim the marathon for good. This is the world's oldest peaceful international competition. You know, it's an extraordinary event, and we're going to make it peaceful again.
Senior Minister Nancy Taylor watched the carnage from this very bell tower a year ago, and now hopes her church's SCARF project will help a city rise above the bombers.
They kind of try to separate us and send us scattering. This is a program a project that brings people together.
Meantime, the scarves continue to arrive, some delivered by the knitters themselves, others shipped with photos of the makers, many with a personal note attached.
It's a personal race for all of us, even though we're not runners, and we just wanted to express how we feel.
Runners will be scarfed at several church events and simply on the street out front in the days leading up to the marathon. At Old South Church, Ken McLeod, WBZ News.
Now, the scarves are symbolic, of course, because sweaty runners aren't likely to wear them on marathon day, at least during the race, maybe afterwards. But those who get one will know that someone made it with the hope that it would inspire and protect them. We will have special coverage of the Day of Remembrance, Tuesday, April 15th, all day, right here on WBZ.
A little more blue and yellow for you from our graphics department and from nature itself. The daffodils in bloom here. This one from Bob and Quincy. Last night we talked about how we saw a lot of crocus, but not much else. Well, with this warm weather, a little bit more starting to bloom around the area. We're at 55 degrees in Boston, cooling down from our high temperature of 60, 62 in Nashville, New Bedford at 49. Cooler as promised there across the South Coast, Cape and Islands today. Got some 70s off to our south and west, and we too are going to join that party before our 7-day forecast ends. Now the storm we're watching for tonight and tomorrow, a lot of the energy with this big swirl here off to the north and west in southern Canada. We're going to get this front that approaches tonight and brings some cloud cover, but it's going to be pretty stark with moisture. We're not expecting a lot of rain. So clear skies, gusty winds outside for this evening. So we head toward midnight and beyond. The clouds will start to thicken up. It's not a dense overcast, but we'll see more clouds. And then tomorrow morning, heading off toward work, starting the school day, showing a couple of sprinkle showers here. I think the air at the surface is going to be really dry, so at most a couple of light rain showers. That's going to be it. It's not going to cause a lot of issues for us. And they may linger until late in the morning. The question tomorrow is how bright does it get as we head into the afternoon? The idea is that here from Boston southward, you're going to stay a little bit cloudier, and we're going to be looking at a grayer day. But as you head northward, especially southern New Hampshire, northern Middlesex, northern Essex, and Worcester, you'll see a good amount of sunshine, really a beautiful afternoon out of this. Same idea for the evening. The clouds will just start to creep their way a little farther northward, but it's going to be a mild day just about everywhere except for Cape Cod and the islands, staying in the 40s to around 50. So tomorrow morning will be a few light showers. At midday, I think it's just kind of a milky sky outside. We're in the upper 50s to near 60 degrees, and brightest to the north, and still brighter to the north as we head into the evening. Could be a couple of rain showers late in the evening that start to move back in, especially, again, South Coast, Cape, and the islands. So with this next wave of low pressure, that's going to move through tomorrow evening and during the overnight, and then maybe around very early in the morning on Saturday with some clouds. Again, not expecting a lot of rainfall. So we head towards Saturday afternoon, skies will clear, And on Sunday, we're looking at a mild day as this big push of southwesterly wind starts to move in our direction. So the idea for tomorrow's temps, again, 60s for much of the area, little wedge of cool down here at the wind off the water. So we head into Saturday, a more typical sea breeze. So the whole coastline is a little bit cooler than what we see inland. And then on Sunday, with our winds out of the south, we're going to be looking at the cool air, South Coast, Cape and Islands again. And it's that time of year. We've got a lot going on when it comes to temperatures. We'll talk about 70s and what we expect next week with heavy rain coming up. Jonathan?
Look forward to it. Thanks, Eric. A big announcement from CBS. Stephen Colbert will replace David Letterman once the Late Show host hangs up his spurs.
David Wade takes a closer look at the changing look of late-night TV.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, here with tonight's top 10 list.
If there was a top 10 list titled Why Stephen Colbert is Replacing Letterman, number 1 might sound like this.
No way! That's awesome!
You like him?
Yeah, I love Stephen Colbert.
Nation, I have a major announcement to make.
The host of Comedy Central's The Colbert Report is big with the kids. The tweeting, Snapchatting, Instagramming, younger demographic. Like we interviewed over at BU. What do you think of Stephen Colbert?
He's funny, very funny.
What do you like about him?
He's very humorous, he keeps me laughing all the time, and he has great jokes.
Boston University professor of television sciences, Deborah Jaramillo, says hiring Colbert is part of this changing landscape.
CBS, ABC, and NBC definitely are aggressively going after the younger demographic.
And the satirical buffoonery that Colbert has performed so well on cable has been demo gold. A 2012 Pew Research poll found 43% of Colbert's audience is under 30.
I mean, Colbert has that audience and they're going to follow him anywhere, and those are the good consumers, and so it makes perfect sense that CBS would go after them.
In his new role, Colbert says he won't be playing a character. He'll be himself. What will that look like? We got a peek at a serious Colbert in an epic post-marathon rant about being Boston strong.
These maniacs may have tried to make life bad for the people of Boston, but all they can ever do is show just how good those people are. Now, this is the Colbert Report.
Gotta love Stephen Colbert. Now, he signed a 5-year deal with CBS to take over for Letterman sometime in 2015. We don't know the date. He said he was thrilled and then added, quote, "Now, if you excuse me, I have to go grind a gap in my front teeth." Jonathan, all of that to you.
He won't need it, David. Thanks very much. Working out the kinks.
And coming up, new information on the number of people who have signed up for Obamacare.
Plus, a new program helping young children fighting life-threatening illnesses. Support and comfort is coming in the form of a friend. Now, here's Lisa with a look at what's coming up at 6 o'clock.
Coming up new at 6, bicyclists riding into danger in Copley Square.
I got caught, flipped the bike over.
The road hazard blamed for several accidents every day. And what's putting bikers and drivers in danger?
I'm afraid that somebody is going to crash and a car is not going to be able to stop in time.
Backed by popular demand and only at K&G, 100% wool suits are now just $99.99. Plus select designer suits are $199.99. Buy one, get two free. Refresh your look for Easter at K&G. K&G.
It's a springtime sale extravaganza this week at Namco. Buy an 18-foot Solstice pool for just $11.99. An amazing savings of $1,700. Or buy one of our all-new Allura pools and get a standard pool package for free. That's a $900 value absolutely free. And get reduced minimum financing. But act now, this springtime sale ends on April 13th. And new for 2014, place your order online and pick it up in store at your convenience. Visit namcopool.com for details.
The character of a champion includes overcoming adversity. And in last year's marathon, Elisa DeCisa was the champion.
The Boston Marathon.
DeCisa felt touched by the tragedy, and he wanted to bring the champion's medal and present it back to the city of Boston. He came back to present that most cherished of symbols to a city that had shown the resilience of a champion. His way of saying, we're all champions, we all share this.
Toyota gets better. Because we give you all new stylish Toyotas. Better yet, we give you great deals with the Toyota Gifts of Spring Savings Event. Receive the lowest ever lease on a well-equipped Corolla Sport for only $117 a month with no cost maintenance included. Plus, recent and soon-to-be college grads can get an additional $750 rebate. Hurry, Gifts of Spring will be wrapped up soon. Toyota, let's go places.
Backed by popular demand and only at K&G, 100% wool suits are now just $99.99. Plus select designer suits are $199.99. Buy one, get two free. Refresh your look for Easter at K&G.
K&G.
Health Watch is brought to you by Newton Wellesley Hospital.
A student program at UMass Medical School is helping take the fear out of medical treatments for some children, because that can be scary.
Sounds ingenious. In tonight's Health Watch, Dr. Mallika Marshall brings us the details about sidekicks. Malik?
Well, you know, hospitals are frightening to any child, but children with life-threatening illnesses get poked and prodded, sometimes for years. But UMass Medical School offers something like a Big Brother program that makes going through treatment just a little bit easier.
You've made a powerful enemy, Master Yoda.
6-year-old Christian Campero of Northborough is a huge Star Wars fan. No one knows that better than Walter Palmer, a second-year medical student and Christian's sidekick.
Students are sidekicks, patients are buddies.
Dr. Naheed Usmani, a pediatric oncologist, developed a program called Sidekicks that matches medical students with very sick children undergoing treatment at UMass Medical Center.
The medical students find it very meaningful. I think it really anchors them to why they went into medicine, which you can lose in the first 2 years of basic sciences.
Christian and Walter were paired together a little over a year ago. Christian has leukemia, and the road hasn't been an easy one. Christian's mom says Walter provided the distraction that her son badly needed.
He was scared in the beginning, but as soon as he knows that Walter's coming, that's all he's thinking about.
Liam Fitzgerald, also from Northborough, is now in remission from leukemia. But his sidekick, Julie, played a huge role in his recovery. They've now been together for 4 years.
We would come after her classes, come visit us at night, come visit us before the surgery. All of our clinic visits. He's my shining star.
Dr. Usmani says it's a win-win both for students who learn what life is like for a child with a serious illness and the families who sometimes just need some time to regroup.
We're just tired and been there a while, and, you know, we're waiting to, get results or things like that. And Walter comes, sometimes they'll go out in the hallway, and give Mom a rest.
It helped us have someone else to talk to besides the doctors and the nurses and things like that. That became a friend.
But I never expected the relationship that I felt with Liam to be, this spectacular.
When you have a friend who's going through it, it hits home a lot better.
So sweet. Well, the first and second-year medical students do get course credit for participating. They are required to make contact with their buddies at least twice a month, and they have to attend lectures and do a little write-up at the end. But, the moms actually said this has made it so that their children are not afraid of the hospital.
This seems like such a no-brainer because it gives them a great bedside manner when they do become full-blown doctors.
That's right.
Tell me other schools are working on this.
So there are actually 3 other schools that have sort of modeled their Big Buddy program after the one at UMass, and including one at BU. So there's another local one.
Everybody should have it. All right, Mallika, thanks very much.
Thank you.
You can send Dr. Mallika your story ideas. You can email her directly at drmallika@cbs.com, or you can tweet her at Mallika Marshall.
Well, a massive mudslide slammed into her home.
Yeah, still to come for us, terrifying moments for a Washington State woman holding onto her toddler as she is swept away.
Plus, why would a well-adjusted B student who'd never been in trouble do it? Puzzling questions after a stabbing rampage at a Pennsylvania high school.
An historic bridge gets a facelift, but its stripped-down condition is raising a few eyebrows about safety.
Like us, and you could drive away with the car of your dreams. Enter the Like CBS and Win sweepstakes, and you could win an all-new 2015 Audi A3. Go to our Facebook page, click like, and enter for your chance to win.
Today's weather on WBZ is brought to you by your New England Chevy dealers.
The all-new Chevy Silverado, from the family of the most dependable, longest-lasting full-size pickups on the road. The truck that beats any Ford F-150 in fuel economy, and the 2014 North American Truck of the Year. And now, during Chevy Truck Month, the price you see is the price you pay for a 2014 Chevy Silverado. Use special Truck Month pricing to get a total value of over $8,100 on this Silverado All-Star Edition with best-in-class V8 fuel economy.
Visit your New England Chevy dealer.
Winter's in full swing, and Butchika's in tax-free Salem, New Hampshire is your place to gear up for ski and snowboarding this year. Come in, get expert advice from our knowledgeable and experienced staff, browse our huge selection, and take advantage of our low prices on the latest equipment. Plus, get a lift ticket to J Peak with the purchase of any ski or snowboard package over $499. J Peak, the most snow in Eastern North America. Butchika's Ski Shop, your skiing and riding connection, on Route 28 in tax-free Salem, New Hampshire.
Tonight's primetime lineup is brought to you by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Massachusetts. Blue Cross Blue Shield of you.
Don't miss the Boston Interiors Warehouse Clearance Sale. This weekend only in Stoughton. The style and quality Boston Interiors is known for, now up to 70% off. That's right, save on overstocks, floor models, and one-of-a-kind furniture, mattresses, and more. Only at our Stoughton warehouse, and only this weekend. Bring a truck and haul away serious savings. This weekend at the Boston Interiors Warehouse Clearance Sale. Only at our Stoughton store, 301 Page Street.
Hello and welcome to the beautiful appliance showrooms of Barron's Major Brand. Our entire stock of Whirlpool appliances is on sale right now with great prices and extra rebates. Plus, this Frigidaire refrigerator is only $5.19. There's great sale prices on stainless French door refrigerators. Plus, you'll get $900 in total savings when you buy this Frigidaire kitchen package. And remember, when it comes to appliances, nobody ever beats a Barron's Major Brands price.
Former Police Commissioner Ed Davis joins the WBZ News team as our exclusive security analyst insight. Only Ed can offer. Only on WBZ News.
Our top story at 5:30. It's not a pretty sight. A busy bridge in Alston under construction for months, and the condition of it has the people who drive over it worried. This $20 million project started in March of 2013, and there's still another year of work to go.
Yeah, the rehab project has the bridge looking to be in very rough shape. And as our Beth Germano shows us, tonight state transportation workers want us all to know it is safe.
A facelift never looks good, and when it's a stripped-down version of a well-traveled bridge...
The condition is somewhat scary, but at some point they're going to fix it and make it right.
Engineers are trying to make it right on the Anderson Memorial Bridge, connecting Alston and Cambridge, nearly 100 years old and showing its age, from the crumbling brick to what looks now like a crumbling everything.
Yeah, I hope I make it over to the other side, all right? But, yeah, no, it looks like it's, I don't know.
It's our goal.
State transportation officials call this a just-in-time project and are certain of its safety during reconstruction, even if the look of the exposed soil beneath is less than encouraging for motorists.
We're confident through regular inspections that the structure is safe enough to handle the traffic load that's on it currently.
The bridge has been cut in half. Well, the travel lanes, that is, down to only 2 and reducing the weight on the bridge by 50%.
You've got that side over there, so you just have to plan accordingly.
Even pedestrians are raising safety concerns. Wyatt Smith admits he doesn't take his time on this bridge.
I try to move fast and serious as fast as I can, as much as I can. But, you know, and we're not commuters, we're pedestrians.
It's very similar to renovating an old house. Once you pull away the facing, you find a lot of things you didn't expect. But we kind of have a handle on all that now.
And keeping the bridge historically accurate is taking more time, now extending the project into next year. Engineers insist the look is deceiving now. When the $20 million project is done, it should last another 100 years. In Cambridge, Beth Germano, WBZ News.
The state fire marshal says improper disposal of smoking materials caused last week's deadly fire in Fitchburg. On March 31st, a 22-year-old man and a 39-year-old woman sleeping on the second floor of this home on East Street were killed. A man sleeping on the first floor is still in the hospital recovering from injuries he suffered in the fire. Fire investigators say there were no working smoke detectors or carbon monoxide alarms in the home. Well, an elite runner who will race in the upcoming marathon grew up right here in Massachusetts.
Shalane Flanagan says she took quite personally when those bombs went off last year. Lisa Hughes joins us tonight with more on her story. Lisa?
Well, Jonathan and Paula, the Marblehead native, sat down recently for an interview with 60 Minutes, and she is excited for this year's race. Shalane Flanagan came in 4th in the 2013 Boston Marathon. She lives in Portland, Oregon, but she has come back at least once a month to train on the Boston course. She says it's her lifelong dream to win the Boston Marathon, a race she grew up watching when her parents ran. They were both elite athletes, and every year, Flanagan was right there watching them cross the finish line.
I watched from Hereford all the way down to the finish, and that's exactly the two areas where the bombs went off. So it was a surreal moment to think of. I was a little kid watching my dad run right there. I mean, it easily could have been me or my sister.
Well, Shalane Flanagan told me earlier this year she knew immediately last year, especially because of the attacks at the finish line, that she would be back to run Boston in 2014. She hopes that running on the course in all types of weather is going to give her an edge, and she says winning Boston would be even bigger than taking a gold in the Olympics. You can watch Shalane Flanagan's full interview with Anderson Cooper Sunday night on 60 Minutes right here on WBZ. Jonathan, Paul.
All right, Lisa, thanks. Tonight, investigators in Pennsylvania are still trying to figure out why a high school student went on a stabbing rampage at his high school.
As Alexis Christophorus shows us, one of the victims there is speaking out.
16-year-old Brett Hurt says it all happened so fast. He described the moment a fellow student stabbed him in the back during a rampage at Franklin Regional Senior High School.
He was running up the hallway and hit me on the way, and I didn't know it happened.
Hurt credits his friend Gracie with saving his life.
Her putting pressure on my women, make sure I didn't bleed out.
16-year-old sophomore Alex Rival is charged with multiple counts of attempted homicide and aggravated assault for the attack that left 21 students and a school security guard injured. His lawyer says the teen has no history of violence or mental illness.
He's a good kid. He's a B student. Never been in trouble. Well-liked. Not a loner.
While investigators search for a motive, Brett Hurt's mother questions whether the school community played a role.
What have we done to alienate this child for him to do such a gruesome thing?
The high school is expected to reopen Monday after the bloody scene is cleaned up, but some victims say they don't know if they'll be able to go back.
I think if I walked in there, I might just freeze. I won't be able to move.
Rival is being charged as an adult. His lawyer is requesting a psychiatric evaluation. Alexis Christophorus, CBS News, Murraysville, Pennsylvania.
Contradictions today from Oscar Pistorius. All along, the Olympic track star claimed that he shot his girlfriend because he thought she was a burglar. Today on the stand during cross-examination, he said not only did he not intend to shoot the woman, he never intended to shoot anyone.
Did you fire deliberately?
No, my lady, I did not fire deliberately.
You stole it accidentally.
I'm still with the fact that I fired the gun out of fear. That at the time, I interpreted it as somebody coming out of the bathroom, lady. I'm not trying to argue, I'm saying that I didn't mean to pull the trigger, so in that sense it was an accident.
For court watchers, when Pistorius responded, my lady, he was referring to the female judge who will decide his fate. If he is convicted of intentionally killing his girlfriend, he could be facing the rest of his life in prison.
The number of Americans who signed up for health coverage under the new health care law has exceeded expectations. Today, Health and Human Services Secretary Kathleen Sebelius announced that 7.5 million people now have coverage. The program is proving to be a surprise success after the disastrous rollout. And it is a controversial question. Did Jesus have a wife? Coming up, what scientists just discovered about documents that indicate he was married.
Plus, have search crews found the black boxes to that missing Malaysia airline? Tonight, new pings are offering new clues.
Boston's must-see dance event of the season is Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater. Don't miss the world's most popular dance company at the City Way Theater. May 1st through 4th only. For tickets, visit citycenter.org.
I was impressed with how many great reviews they had.
What makes Certico different is that our people really care about making our customers happy.
They asked what they could do to make painting an extraordinary experience for us. And they kept the gate latched.
We work from a personalized written certainty pledge.
CertaPro painters did a wonderful job. They respected our lifestyle and our home.
It's about 5-star craftsmanship and having truly satisfied customers. Schedule your free estimate at CertaPro.com. CertaPro Painters, because painting is personal.
Toyota is #1 in value, but it gets better. Because we give you all new stylish Toyotas. Better yet, we give you great deals with the Toyota Gifts of Spring Savings Event. Receive our lowest lease on a Prius C, just $97 a month with no cost maintenance included. Or get best ever 0 for 60 plus $750 bonus cash on a Prius liftback. Hurry, Gifts of Spring will be wrapped up soon. Toyota, let's go places.
Hi, I'm Dan Ray. When your energy bills are getting you hot under the collar, you need to come on in to Window World and discover all the ways that Window World can save you money and beautify your home. How about a house full of windows? That's 10 Energy Star windows for only $29.65 or just $105 a month. Not only does Window World have unbeatable deals on windows and doors, they also have a terrific selection of siding in a wide variety of sizes and colors. Plus, their optional contoured insulating foam keeps your home comfortable year-round. Don't wait for the next big change in New England weather. To save big money on your energy bills and deck your home with stunning windows and superior siding from Window World. It's never been more affordable to increase the value of your home and start saving money each and every month. So go ahead and give Window World a call. I'm a customer, you should be too.
Call now for a free estimate. 866-830-5000.
The most important thing about the Vernon Cancer Center is that we have high expertise in the medical oncology field who provide compassion, care, understanding for patients and their families as they go through this journey of cancer. We strive to have a multidisciplinary approach to cancer care, including supportive services. I think a good doctor shows compassion, caring, the ear to listen, and just helping the patient through their journey.
Boston's must-see dance event of the season is Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater. Don't miss the world's most popular dance company at the City Wing Theater. May 1st through 4th only. For tickets, visit citycenter.org.
Searching say that they may have discovered another clue in the hunt for that missing Malaysia Airlines Flight 370.
As Alfonso Van Marsh shows us, crews think they may be zeroing in on the wreckage.
Investigators are analyzing new data from a possible 5th underwater signal that could be linked to the disappearance of Flight 370. An Australian plane picked up the signal about 1,400 miles west of Perth. The sounds came from the same area as 4 earlier signals recorded deep in the Indian Ocean. The Australian Navy has been dropping markers like these to listen underwater. Investigators hope the sounds are coming from the missing Malaysian plane's data recorders. It is unclear why the plane veered off course on March 8th. Officials say the flight data recorders are essential to finding out what happened to the airliner, but their locator beacons have a battery life of only about a month. Crews have narrowed the search zone to its smallest area yet. Dozens of aircraft and ships from the U.S., China, and other countries are now searching a 22,000 square mile section of the Indian Ocean. Alfonso Van Marsh, CBS News.
Now, if searchers pinpoint the source of the signals, they could next then send down a robot to check and see if those sounds are actually coming from the plane's flight recorders.
Crystal Campbell was one of 3 people killed when the bombs went off at the marathon finish line. Straight ahead, why one family who never met the young woman plans to run this year in her honor.
Running outside is going to be no big issue over the next few days. Lots of mild weather, but there is a big cool down at the end of it. I usually run first thing in the morning, right when I wake up. This is going to be my first Boston Marathon. It's been challenging this winter, but when you train on the course, you see all the different people who are running this race. Having those people around gives you a little extra spirit. So I am raising money for charity. My father passed away early last year, so I decided to start a scholarship fund for Massachusetts students. We're going into fields that were close to his heart. And of course, this year is going to be such a huge one for the city. To be a part of that is going to be something very special.
This is the Name Your Price tool. It gives you options based on your budget. It's a piece of cake. I was told there would be cake. Get a free quote at Progressive.com.
I'd wake up every morning and wonder, how in the heck am I ever going to get out of bed and onto these feet? And I found good feet, and I instantly felt the comfort. I used to have bad feet. Now I have good feet.
For a location near you, visit BostonFootPaint.com.
The Toyota Gifts of Spring Savings Event. Receive a $219 a month lease on an Avalon with no cost maintenance included. The Gifts of Spring will soon be wrapped up. Toyota, let's go places.
At UMass Amherst, the Commonwealth's flagship campus, we stand for progress. From the discoveries in our new life science laboratories, to our graduate work in renewable energy, to our advancements in life-saving storm tracking technology, and our mission to modernize some of the state's oldest native industries. At UMass Amherst, we don't just think about the future of Massachusetts, we help define it.
It's a springtime sale extravaganza this week at Namco. Buy an 18-foot Solstice pool for just $11.99, an amazing savings of $1,700. Or buy one of our all-new Allure pools and get a standard pool package for free. That's a $900 value, absolutely free. And get reduced minimum financing. But act now, this springtime sale ends on April 13th. And new for 2014, place your order online and pick it up in store at your convenience. Visit namcopool.com for details.
The real deal is the Passat TDI Clean Diesel. Gets up to 795 highway miles per tank.
Actually, we're throwing in a $1,000 fuel reward card. We've never done that. That's why there's never been a better time to buy a Passat TDI Clean Diesel.
So it's like 2 deals in one.
Exactly.
During the first ever Volkswagen TDI Clean Diesel event, get a great deal on a Passat TDI that gets up to 795 highway miles per tank. And get a $1,000 fuel reward card. It's like 2 deals in one. Hurry in and get a $1,000 fuel reward card and 0.9% APR for 60 months on TDI models.
I was in constant pain.
Constant pain.
But I felt relief right away with Good Feet and has allowed me to live a full and pain-free life.
Take that first step, pain-free.
For a location near you, visit BostonFootPaint.com.
Beep, bop, boop, bop, boop, beep.
She says switch to Progressive and you could save hundreds.
Call or click today.
CBS Money Watch Stock Update is brought to you by Citizens Bank. Good banking is good citizenship.
A big part of this year's Boston Marathon will be honoring those who lost their lives. 29-year-old Crystal Campbell was standing on Boylston watching the race with a good friend when the first bomb went off. David Way joins us tonight with more.
You know, Jonathan, there are so many definitions of being Boston strong, like training for the hardest race of your life to honor someone that you never had the privilege of meeting. One family tells me when they heard Crystal Campbell's story, they knew immediately where they would be this marathon Monday. They are a team with more than a shoestring connection. Through blood, through marriage, they're a family, rallying around a last name, Campbell.
We as a family are somehow connected, only maybe in name, but we are connected to Crystal.
Bill Campbell is not related to Crystal Campbell, but there's a bond. You see, his uncle Richard Campbell, also unrelated to Crystal, is the UMass trustee who last fall commissioned and then presented to Crystal's parents a great painting of her. It hangs at UMass Boston, where Crystal once studied. Richard, like Crystal, grew up in Medford.
Shortly after the marathon, he's like, look, how about if we get a group of the family together to run for Crystal and to run for the scholarship. I think there was probably 7 or 8 of us that all jumped on the email and said absolutely.
She was there cheering on all of the runners in the marathon. It really could have been anybody. And it's not fair to take her life away.
So Bill Campbell and his cousin Melanie Campbell and the rest of this family joined the Run for Crystal. They will run the marathon to raise money for a scholarship in Crystal's name at UMass. For years to come, the scholarship will carry along the story of a young woman known for her work ethic and her smile.
There's no family connection, but you certainly sound like you kind of made a connection here.
She's definitely a role model, a hardworking, generous, and kind person that I want my children to grow up to be like. So for us, we were able to make a very easy connection with her.
A towering billboard along the Southeast Expressway now drives donations for the scholarship. But these feet do the most work.
It's about her memory. It is about her.
Running for Crystal, as if she were family. last May, UMass Boston awarded Crystal a posthumous degree. The Crystal Campbell Scholarship will look to advance the careers of young women. For more information about the Run for Crystal, we have a link on our website, cbsboston.com. Jonathan?
All right, David, thank you. On Marathon Monday, Campbell was at the finish line with her best friend, Karen Rand McWaters. Karen lost a leg in the blast and says she often feels Crystal is still with her. Coming up tonight on WBZ News at 11 o'clock, the inspiration that she is finding as she turns tragedy into a way to help others.
The city of Medford plans to build a peace garden in honor of Crystal Campbell, Martin Richard, Lindsay Liu, Officer Sean Collier, and all of those injured in the marathon bombings. They're scheduled to announce all of the details tomorrow afternoon. If you missed our special one-hour presentation, Boston Marathon, The Road Ahead, you'll have another chance to see it. We will re-air the special Saturday night at 11:35 right here on WBZ-TV.
Who have been training for the race have been saying, where was this weather a month ago or so? It's a lot more comfortable outside these days, that's for sure. We're in the 50s in Plymouth and Boston, still in the 60s in Nashua, and that wind off the water, keeping things cool across the islands, the Cape, and the South Coast. 40s around 50 there. A lot of mild temperatures off to our south and west. We've got the low 70s. I wouldn't call it scorching hot, but a drastic improvement compared to what we saw, certainly through the month of March. We've got another weather system off to our west. This is going to bring us some rain showers and some clouds as we head to the overnight. All clear skies for this evening, though. And beautiful viewing. The ISS, International Space Station, will be moving across the sky. That is right before 8 o'clock if you're looking out. So clear skies this evening as we head toward midnight. The clouds will start to move their way in. We'll stay in the 40s all night long, and the wind doesn't completely die down. It'll stay out of the southwest. Tomorrow morning, there'll be a few light rain showers. Not going to add up to a whole lot. Shouldn't slow down the commute all that much either. It may stay a bit cloudy and damp as we head toward late morning. But during the afternoon, we should work in a decent amount of sun, especially from the Pike northward. This is where you'll see the most sunshine out of the day. Here across the south coast, far southeastern Mass, and into the Cape, the clouds are going to be a little bit thicker, and certainly as we head toward the evening, some rain showers may start to work their way back in. So sunrise is at 6:10. It'll be a fairly mild start. A couple drops to dodge. And then as we head toward midday, it's filtered sunshine. The brightest skies to the north. The best day of all is in southern New Hampshire tomorrow. And then as we take a look at what happens in the evening, some of those sprinkles start to move back into far southern parts of the state, and that rain will move its way across during the overnight. So if you have Friday evening plans, maybe the umbrella, a little wave of low pressure is going to move across, a very thin band of rainfall along with that, nothing terribly heavy, and most of it's gone by Saturday morning. We may start off with the clouds, but increasing sun on Saturday, and then we bring in the much warmer air as we go into Sunday and Monday. So a very mild stretch here. We don't see significant rainfall until late on Tuesday. Now the sea breezes playing a big role. Tomorrow, 60s inland, little wedge of the 40s and 50s. Little change in the wind direction for Saturday. Wind's generally light, which means you get a typical sea breeze. So from the North Shore, Boston, South Shore, Cape Islands, and South Coast, all seeing that cooling influence. And then on Sunday, the wind is right out of the south, and that keeps that influence right near the South Coast, and more the same as we head into the day on Monday, where the inland areas scorch their way up into the 70s. So here's a look at the weekend. It's mainly dry. Sunday looking excellent, mix of sun and clouds way up into the 60s, and these temperatures running above average all the way through Tuesday. Average highs in the mid-50s this time of year, so we'll see a lot more of that blooming and a lot less of this. The snow that's across northern New England. It's still pretty deep, but it will continue to melt. So here's your AccuWeather 7-day forecast. Monday is the warmest, way up into the 70s, except for the Cape and Islands. It'll be windy on Monday as well. The storm to watch is Tuesday, late into Wednesday. This is going to bring a dose of very heavy rainfall, plus we'll have that snow melt. And then look at the temps, 40s for highs, and that might be in the morning on Wednesday. I think we'll fall back into the 30s by the afternoon.
Still love it.
That's going to be a sharp, it's going to hurt midweek.
All right, Eric, thanks very much.
Thank you.
How about this? Was Jesus Christ married? An ancient document referring to the marriage of Jesus appears to date back to the 8th century. Now, our partners at the Globe report scientific tests on the papyrus show no signs of modern forgery. Harvard professor Karen King discovered the controversial text about 18 months ago. Now, she believes the document was part of a debate about the role of women in spiritual life.
About 250 local women gathered this morning to learn more about the link between diet and exercise and preventing breast cancer. Well, this breakfast is a fundraiser for the Susan Smith Center for Women's Cancers at Dana-Farber. Today's keynote speaker was Needham native Megan Martin. She was 30 years old and 7 months pregnant when she found out she had breast cancer. told the group diet and exercise were key during her treatment and that it helped her reach her goal of riding her first PanMass challenge last year.
Well, she was holding her baby when the earth nearly swallowed them up.
Right after the break, a Washington landslide survivor talks about how she and her son stayed alive. And now here are David and Lisa. They've got a look at what's coming up in the news at 6.
Paula, thank you. We are following some breaking news tonight. A terror warning from the State Department.
And why Americans may be kidnap targets for Al-Qaeda.
And a teacher who was attacked by a student in the classroom. Why she is now the one who might be in trouble. It's next at 6.
You have many choices when it comes to selecting a home health care provider. When seeking out care for yourself or a loved one after being in the hospital, consider the following. Interview qualified providers in your area to discuss your care and insurance options. Always verify the provider is accredited or certified, and check that all employees are properly screened and trained. Talk with your doctor to get the answers you need to make an informed decision.
Sponsored by Beata Home Healthcare. Compassion, excellence, reliability.
Termites in your basement? Ants in your kitchen? Ticks and mosquitoes in your yard? With Modern Pest Services, you'll never worry about a pest, stinging insect, or wildlife issue again. Call now and your first service is free. Pest problems? Not on our watch.
It started when Joe was battling cancer.
I got my diagnosis. Just had to face it head on.
The Joey and Drizzy Foundation provides help, hope, and a reason to smile for patients and their families that are battling cancer.
This year, we're at 48 runners. Every stride they make, they're helping. Families pay up walkers, pay rent, utilities.
They do a lot for our foundation. They're helping hundreds of families.
It goes a long way.
Gifts of Spring Savings Event. Receive the lowest ever lease on a well-equipped Corolla Sport for only $117 a month with no cost maintenance included. The gifts of spring will soon be wrapped up. Toyota, let's go places.
Hi, I'm Roberto Napoleon. People always ask me, what is the Nicolot difference? When it comes to product, home always wants the best.
It lasts. It looks like the day it was laid down.
This is Nicolot. This is a competitive brand. See the difference in the intensity of the color.
And the color went all the way through.
We apply a protective surface and eliminate all the pitfalls that other brands may have. That will not happen with a paper ship product. They can be confident it's the best product they can possibly buy. See the Nicolot difference.
For more information, visit nicolot.com/TB2.
For the first time, we are hearing from the Washington State mother who held on to her 5-month-old son as a landslide slammed into and covered her home.
This is Amanda Skorjek. She suffered crushing injuries. Her legs are in casts, her arm in a sling. She says her son's father had just left to go to the store when she heard a noise.
And then I looked out our front door, and it was like a movie. Houses were exploding, and the next thing I remember, well, the next thing I see is our neighbor's chimney coming into our front door. And I turned and I held Duke, and I did not let him go.
Well, Duke and Amanda would literally ride out the slide. It carried them 600 feet before the earth beneath them finally stopped moving, and the baby was still in her arms.
He was dirty and a little blue, and I thought I was losing him, so I would give him little sternal rubs, and I would pat on his chest, and I'd say, "Stay with me, bud," and then I'd ask God to not take him in front of me.
And they were trapped. A man walking by heard Amanda screaming for help. He took the baby from her arms, and rescuers used a chainsaw to free her from the debris. Both Amanda and her baby Duke should make a full recovery. Amazing.
But that poor girl, she just sounded so terrified. Well, please stay with us. We have much more news still ahead.
That is going to do it for us at 5 o'clock, but there's much more because the news at 6 starts right now.
What's expected to be one of the most intense and expensive Senate races in the country is about to get underway.
Scott Brown's uphill battle to unseat Gene Shaheen.
Russia holding back vital information on Tamerlan Tsarnaev, what the FBI was not told in the months before the Boston Marathon bombings.
Some showers in the forecast for tomorrow, but will they stick around into the weekend? We'll talk about the timing and track some really warm temperatures.
And bicyclists hitting a road hazard in Copley Square every day.
I got caught, flipped the bike over.
The dangerous problem that won't be easy to fix.
Live from our studios in Boston, WBZ News at 6 starts right now.
We begin tonight with breaking news, a warning from the State Department that Al-Qaeda may be plotting to kidnap Americans. I'm Lisa Hughes.
And I'm David Wade in for Jack Williams tonight. The State Department says the terror group is kidnapping to make money. Ken McLeod is working this story. Ken?
David and Lisa, the State Department says Al-Qaeda groups want to kidnap Americans and other Westerners in an effort to get ransom money to finance terror plots. The groups usually target government workers or diplomats, but all Americans who travel are urged to be cautious. Now, the warnings also say Al-Qaeda continues to look at high-profile sporting events, places of worship, and shopping malls as potential targets. And those plots could take different forms, including suicide operations, assassinations, kidnappings, hijackings, and bombings. Now, it doesn't appear there is any new plot or even any significant intelligence that led to this warning. The State Department says it just wants to update people and keep them advised that Al-Qaeda is still a threat. David and Lisa, back to you.
Ken, thank you. Russia may have withheld information that could have helped the FBI investigate one of the marathon bombing suspects. We knew Russia warned the U.S. about Tamerlan Tsarnaev's activities, specifically his travel. But a new report says that when the FBI asked its Russian counterparts for more information, Russia said no. John Keller joins us now. John?
Lisa, this latest report from the Inspector General for the intelligence community cites communication failures within U.S. law enforcement, while also generally exonerating the FBI from malpractice in this case. But all that comes as lawyers for the surviving suspect are trying to make the feds a focal point of their defense.
We would all feel better had there been greater access to information that was within the control of Russian intelligence.
And the governor isn't the only one upset that Russia stopped sharing intelligence about Tamerlan Tsarnaev in the months before the bombings, including a wiretapped phone call between Tamerlan and his mother discussing violent jihad.
That's information that everybody would have liked to have been aware of, no question.
But WBC security analyst Ed Davis shares the view of Homeland Security expert Juliet Kayyem that Russia was never a reliable intelligence partner.
They are not a friend or an ally of the United States. So the idea that they had all this great information, and if only the FBI had taken it, then we could have stopped the Boston Marathon attacks, I always believed was somewhat suspicious.
But both Kayyem and Davis are even more skeptical of a report by the Los Angeles Times, echoing the claim of Jahar Tsarnaev's defense team that FBI pressure on Tamerlan may have sparked his increasing radicalization, including an early 2013 effort to change his first name to that of this Islamic jihadist from his home province in Russia.
This story is going to unfold in a million different ways as this case comes forward, as we saw with the Whitey Bulger case. Everyone is going to have a storyline to fit into what they want out of the courtroom.
It would be disappointing if the FBI didn't talk to him about cooperating and giving them information. But I don't think in any way the Whitey Bulger defense is going to work here.
Now, the Inspector General's probe reportedly notes that law enforcement technology struggled to keep up with the flow of data in the Tsarnaev case. For instance, Tamerlan's movements weren't always monitored well, due in part to the inability of our computers to read names in the Russian alphabet. Lisa, back to you.
All right, John, thank you. The ACLU is suing the government for records on the shooting of Tamerlan Tsarnaev's friend, Ibrahim Todashev. The ACLU says it wants information about the FBI, the Massachusetts Joint Terrorism Task Force, and their investigations of Todashev. So far, though, its Freedom of Information requests have been denied. Now, FBI agents shot and killed Todashev after interviewing him for hours.
By the unanswered questions regarding the role of local law enforcement officials and federal law enforcement officials in the months leading up to the Boston Marathon bombing and the subsequent shooting of Ibrahim Todashev.
Now, FBI agents shot and killed Todashev after interviewing him for hours in Florida. The agents say that Todashev became violent and attacked them.
Well,
Well, he was the underdog that shocked the country. He was then the incumbent who lost his Senate seat, and now he is the underdog again, only this time with a different address. Scott Brown now targeting Jeanne Shaheen, the popular former governor, who is now finishing up her first term in the Senate. New Hampshire Bureau Chief Michael Rosenfield is live in Portsmouth tonight with this story. Michael?
Hi, David. The official announcement taking place tonight here at the Sheraton Hotel in Portsmouth, pretty close to where Scott Brown was born. Meantime, Democrats and fellow Republicans say they're ready for the challenge. Former New Hampshire State Senator Jim Rubin's in front of the Capitol today in Concord, aiming for higher office this time around, hoping to unseat Jeanne Shaheen.
She's completely, totally out of touch with the people of the state of New Hampshire. Her votes for Obamacare.
Fellow Republican challenger Bob Smith, who once served in the U.S. Senate, would like to go back and says Scott Brown, who enters the race tonight, is no different from Shaheen. What do you make of Scott Brown jumping in?
Well, he should be in the Democrat primary. With all due respect, I call him Shaheen Light. I mean, those two couldn't debate. They agree on everything.
Scott Brown has made it clear he'll make Obamacare a key focus of the race, blasting Shaheen for supporting the health care law. In his remarks tonight, he'll say in part, "I worked with Senator Shaheen in the U.S. Senate for 3 years. She is a nice person, but wrong on the issues facing the people of New Hampshire."
Well, I think Scott Brown is for Scott Brown, and so on days that he wants to vote one way, he'll vote that way. On days he wants to vote the other way, it's whatever benefits him personally.
The state's Democratic leaders have blasted Brown for his move from Massachusetts to New Hampshire.
Scott Brown is going to realize that this is not some easy seat that Wall Street can come and buy for him.
We also spoke to Karen Testerman today. She's another candidate on the Republican side, and she says that Scott Brown really needs to commit to the debate schedule that will be laid out this spring and summer leading up to the primary. The primary takes place in September. Live in Portsmouth, New Hampshire tonight, Michael Rosenfield, WBZ News. David?
Michael, thank you so much. Appreciate it. A new poll shows that a veteran Massachusetts congressman, meantime, could be in trouble. A survey by the Emerson College Polling Society shows that Congressman John Tierney is tied with Republican Richard Tassay. Tassay narrowly lost this same race to Tierney 2 years ago.
Up to weather now, and we enjoyed a bright sunny day and a windy one this afternoon. Our chief meteorologist Eric Fisher joins us now. Eric, pretty nice though on the whole.
Yeah, you know what? Our average high is 55. We're pretty close to that. We had lots of sunshine and no major complaints today at all. It's all clear skies, just a few cirrus here in southern New England. Next system we're watching, this one right in here. You know, it's a big spin out here into southern Canada. This front's going to bring some clouds and eventually some showers around here by tomorrow morning. Before this evening, we'll stay in the 40s. The wind stays pretty gusty out of the southwest. Some of those sprinkles will arrive later after midnight and toward daybreak tomorrow. And if you're looking up this evening when the sun goes down, we get an International Space Station flyby right at 7:51. Start looking west. And of course, Mars is in the eastern sky, so a double dip for sky watchers. Tomorrow morning, the rain showers arrive. We'll talk about how much we can expect and how this will impact the weekend coming up. All right, David, please back to you.
Talking about the weekend. All right, appreciate it, Eric. Thank you so much. Well, we just got this story in from Derry, New Hampshire. A park there has been evacuated and closed after a fox attacked a girl. It is unclear what kind of injuries she has, but we do know this is the second such attack in a week. This is happening at the Humphrey Park in Derry. Police and animal control are now searching for the fox. As we get more information in, we will pass it along to you. Lisa?
Seabrook, New Hampshire police officer has been indicted for assaulting a man he had in custody. The New Hampshire Attorney General says Officer Mark Richardson is the man you see in this video who is slamming Michael Bergeron's head into a concrete wall. This happened more than 4 years ago, but it only came to the attention of authorities when the video was posted on YouTube. Richardson faces 5 years in prison if he's convicted. The same grand jury refused to indict a second officer.
2 cars caused a lot of problems in East Boston at the scene of a disruptive fire. The first car you'll see is a Toyota that was parked in an alley, which sparked the fire. Boston firefighters say something in the engine caught fire. The flames then spread to 3 buildings. The second problem car was this BMW that was parked right in front of a fire hydrant. Firefighters then broke the windows of the Beamer to get a hose through. But then they had another problem, a kink in the hose.
Several firefighters and some people in the area just grab the rear bumper, and what you do is you just start going up and down, and literally you bounce it, the tires, and you just bounce it and move, and you can move a car a short distance, which is what they did to get the kink out.
Get this, that BMW was registered only 3 days ago, and the owner will not only have to get it fixed, but will have to pay a fine of $100. Firefighters trying to save a Lawrence home were driven out of the building by explosions. One of the residents there had oxygen tanks inside. Those exploded, making conditions even more dangerous for firefighters. 8 people, including 3 children, escaped the fire, but they did lose their home.
The families of 2 firefighters and a police officer who died in the line of duty will get some help from the state. Governor Patrick signed the Line of Duty Act into law today. This is a law that increases the death benefit for first responders and public safety officials who are killed in the line of duty to $150,000. Lawmakers passed this bill after the deaths of Boston Fire Lieutenant Ed Walsh, firefighter Michael Kennedy, and Plymouth police officer Greg Maloney.
Coming up on WBZ News, a teacher attacked by a student in her classroom. Why she's now in danger of losing her job.
Plus, ready to face an old friend. The Red Sox travel to New York to see Jacoby Ellsbury in pinstripes.
And bicyclists crashing every day in Copley Square. The road hazard that's putting riders and drivers in danger.
Toyota is #1 in value, but it gets better. Because we give you all new stylish Toyotas. Better yet, we give you great deals with the Toyota Gifts of Spring Savings Event. Receive a lowest lease on an all-wheel drive Venza for just $178 a month with no cost maintenance included. Or get an all-wheel drive Venza with 0 for 60. Hurry, Gifts of Spring will be wrapped up soon. Toyota, let's go places.
When I told my dad about really free checking at Commerce Bank, he was pretty impressed. So then I told him they also have free business checking. There's no minimum balance and no monthly fees. He even gets a free debit card and free bill pay. Now, Dad has free business checking at Commerce too. And he even bought a smartphone so he can text me for advice. I don't think he knows what LOL means.
I just woke up today and I said, I need something sportier. And done.
Okay, Maxwell. Just need to contact your insurance company with the VIN number.
I just did it with my Geico app. VIN number's up to the loaded.
Okay, well then, Jerry here will take you through all the features then.
Why don't we go out to the car?
Okay, I'm just outside.
Okay, yeah. His dad is my boss.
Yeah.
VIN scanning to add a car. Just a tap away on the Geico app.
Hurry into Sleepy's for our lowest prices of the season. For the first time ever, save up to 65% off practically every mattress in the store. Get Sealy Posturepedic and Beauty Rest Queen sets starting at just $3.99. Get free delivery on the new Serta I-Series. Plus, get a 50-inch HD TV absolutely free with select models. It's the final days. Don't miss it. Trust Sleep.
At Southern New Hampshire University, we traveled across the country to celebrate the success of our online students who couldn't attend graduation.
Thank you guys for giving me a chance again. It's something that I worked for a long time.
Because we believe student success is success worth celebrating.
Who did you get this degree for? I got it for me.
I did this for my mom.
I did it for you, bud.
Congratulations, Daddy.
Find your online graduate or undergraduate program today at smhu.edu.
We still talk about that first trip to Florida. My sister and I actually got along. We didn't fight once. Why would we? Mom and Dad seemed to say yes to everything. Seriously, everything. My sister thought Florida turned our parents into kids. I knew better. Plan your own vacation of yes at visitflorida.com.
Well, how about this? A teacher attacked by a student in the classroom may now be punished for how she handled the incident. 18-year-old Kimar Rosalis threw a chair at his teacher back in March, and now he's being charged. However, the teacher, Joanna Mora, may be disciplined. The headmaster of New Bedford High School says Mora did not properly inform the administration about that incident, which she disputes.
The police were called. The housemaster came, saw the mess. They're trying to get me on a technicality because no one wants to admit that this happened.
So now the teacher will have to appear at a disciplinary hearing next week.
New at 6 o'clock, a rough ride for bicyclists heading into Copley Square. In fact, there are several crashes in this area every day. Now, there is a warning sign, but as Jim Smith shows us, that may not be enough.
On my shoulders sliding. The bike had flipped over.
It happened so fast. Bicyclist Adam Perlman going head over heels on Huntington Ave last summer, flipping his bike.
Flipped the bike over, landed on my shoulder, scraped up my arms and legs pretty good.
Adam says the crash was caused by one of these expansion joints, a common sight on many city streets. But at this intersection, the joint is at just the wrong angle for bike riders.
You're traveling fast enough, and at the wrong angle, your tire gets caught. You can see it'll lock, and it'll flip the bicycle.
He says he saw another lady crash her bike at the same spot just last weekend. A limo driver who works in the neighborhood says he sometimes sees 2 crashes a day here. Every day you see it?
Yeah, most of the time, yeah.
Have you seen people hurt?
But I see sometimes they call ambulance to come.
It's not like the city's not aware of the problem. In fact, they put up several of these hazard signs right here at the intersection. But by the time you see the sign, it might already be too late. Adam says he was told the state owns the expansion joint, but the issue doesn't seem to be on their radar just yet.
I know of one accident that was by an expansion joint in a pothole, but I'm not sure if that was just a unique situation or a trend.
Adam would like to see something done before somebody's killed.
I'm afraid that somebody, traveling in traffic is going to crash, and a car's not going to be able to stop in time.
In Boston, Jim Smith, WBZ News.
And some unusual breaking news now. This is a live picture from the Kansas City Zoo.
You can see very closely, if you look through the trees, a chimpanzee standing on a wall. Apparently there's more than one now on the loose from the Kansas City Zoo. And they're trying to corral them all up and get them back inside. I think what they did was what a lot of people did on a nice day like this. They said, let's take our work outside.
Yeah, they're telling everybody in that area, you know what, stay in your cars, the zoo's closed, we're going to get these chimps back in. But you know what, Eric, you can understand why they might want to break loose.
It's kind of grainy video right there. It kind of looks like Sasquatch video if you look at it just right. Out there in Kansas City. City of Fountains. Maybe they're going for a shower. All right, around here, spring is in full bloom. Last night we were talking about crocus, while a lot of you sent in daffodils. We're on to the next stage of things. Gusty south-southwesterly winds today, making it feel just a touch cooler, 20 to 30, at times 35 miles per hour. Mentioned the low humidity. It was a good day to keep away from any brush clearing, burning around the region. Clear skies here, southern New England, but a big front stretching from Canada right on down to the middle of the country. That's en route. It'll be here as we head through tonight. Now, temperatures will stay in the 40s, not as cold as last night. The wind is also going to stay up, so staying breezy out of that south-southwesterly direction. Tomorrow morning, we're talking about a couple of rain showers as this front moves in. Not going to be a big deal. A few raindrops here and there. Not looking at significant rain. Shouldn't slow down the commute that much. But it will stay rather gray until at least midday. Then as we head toward lunchtime and beyond, we should break in a decent amount of sunshine, especially from the Pike northward. Brightest day of all, southern New Hampshire, right near the Route 2 corridor. But here in the southeastern Mass, you probably have to stay with a more milky sky all the way through the afternoon. Certainly in the evening, another wave of low pressure is going to ride up along that and bring a little bit more substantial rain for Friday night. So tomorrow morning, a couple light showers, sunrise at 6:10. There'll be some filtered sunshine around noontime especially. Farther north you go, brighter it gets. Temperatures very tolerable, upper 50s and into the 60s during the afternoon. It'll be a little cooler Cape Cod and the islands. You know the drill here. We've got the 40s to lower 50s with that wind off the water. The next batch of rain moves through during the overnight, so Friday night into very early on Saturday morning. Thin batch of rain comes across, maybe a quarter inch or so, not expecting much more than that. We'll dry out on Saturday afternoon, and then into Sunday, the warmer air starts its push. We'll be up around 70 degrees in some towns on Sunday and into the 70s on Monday. To break down the ocean influence for the next couple of days, a little sliver of the cool stuff for tomorrow. As we head into Saturday, light winds overall, which will allow sea breeze to develop. So everywhere from the North Shore, Boston, South Shore, you're going to feel that cooling influence on Saturday. Then on Sunday, wind out of the south. It's mainly the south coast around Buzzards Bay, Cape and Islands, and Narragansett Bay. That's where you'll see the cool stuff, and more of the same on Monday, where the inland areas are way up in the 70s, maybe even close to 80 to start next week. So the weekend looking mild, mainly dry, a couple of maybe damp showers early on Saturday morning. That should be about it in terms of rainfall. And with this stretch, The snow that's still holding strong, the Adirondacks, green, whites, and then up around the Allagash will continue to melt, releasing a lot of its water. So that's something to eye with our next storm. That arrives next Tuesday into Wednesday. That could bring a lot of rainfall. If rivers are running high, we might have some flood concerns. Before we get there, it's all about the mild weather. After that storm, sharply colder for Wednesday and Thursday of next week. So hopefully not too much in bloom. We don't want to see a freeze and have other issues crop up because of that. Lisa, David, back to you.
We don't. All right, Eric, thank you. Today would have been the best day to misspell Ellsbury's name on the Jumbotron, right?
To get revenge and signing that big contract. It's interesting, he's going to get his ring at some point, but they're not going to make a big deal of this, are they?
They may just throw it at him. Here, take it. One minute, they're going to make a big deal out of it. No, you got that right. All right, if you can't get up for this series, something's wrong. It's the Red Sox and Yankees tonight in the Bronx. It's the first of a 4-game set between these two rivals. Both teams are off to a mediocre 4-5 start. But get this, since the start of 2002, they have played each other 236 times, and they're dead even, winning 118 each. That's pretty remarkable. There's a little extra spice added to tonight's affair as Jacoby Ellsbury will face his old team for the first time since signing a 7-year, $153 million deal with the Bombers in the offseason. The 30-year-old is off to a great start, hitting .364 with 2 ribbies, 4 stolen bases, and a .417 on-base percentage. Ellsbury says he's looking forward to playing with his old mates.
I'm excited to play. Spent 9 years with the organization, 7 years in the big league, roughly a third of my life. So, left it all on the field for the Red Sox. Played as hard as I could. Definitely proud of my time over there. And I think of the championships, the 2 championships that come to mind. But yeah, I'm excited for tonight's game.
Well, Ellsbury and company will face Clay Buchholz tonight. Sox righty is looking to bounce back from a tough season debut where he allowed 6 runs and a career-high 13 hits in just 4 1/3 innings against the Brewers last weekend at Fenway. His velocity was also down, barely hitting 90 miles per hour with his fastball. Meanwhile, the Frozen Four is underway in the city of brotherly love with the BC Eagles taking on the Union Dutchmen, and right now, Union is up in the second period by a score of 2-1. Johnny Gaudreau got the Eagles on the board just 2 minutes and 8 seconds into the first period with his 36th goal. Union's Matt Bodie tied it up in the second, and right now Union is on top by a score of 2-1. Remember, the winner will face either Minnesota or North Dakota. They play in the nightcap. Speaking of scoreboards, the 78th Masters is also on the way down in Augusta, Georgia. Here's your leaderboard. American Bill Haas is your first-round leader at 4 under. Defending champion Adam Scott, along with 2 others, are just a shot back at 3 under. 3-time champ Phil Mickelson is struggling. He's at 1 over on 14. Bruins are closing in on the President's Trophy for the best record in hockey. With 3 games left to play, they are 3 points ahead of Anaheim for the top spot. Tonight, the Bees are in Winnipeg, taking on the Jets, who sit in last place in the Central Division. As for Brad Stevens' Celtics, they have the night off after losing their 9th straight game last night. 105-97 to the Hawks down in Atlanta. With 4 games left to play, the Celtics are now tied with Orlando for the 3rd worst record in the NBA, which is not so bad. The C's are back in action tomorrow night, hosting the Charlotte Bobcats, because we want draft picks. There you go. You got that.
Steve, thank you. Appreciate it.
The CBS Evening News is coming up at 6:30.
Scott Pelley joins us live from New York with a preview. Scott?
David, Lisa, great to be with you in Boston. The U.S. government has spent about $1 billion stockpiling flu medicine against the chance of a flu pandemic. Well, there's a new medical study out today that says these popular flu medications may only reduce the flu's effects by half a day. Dr. John LaPoute will have that story, and we'll have the rest of the world news for you coming up on the CBS Evening News in about 10 minutes.
Thank you, Scott. Wrapping the runners in Boston Pride. Coming up, how a simple project became a show of support 6,000 times over.
He's dead. I'd say he died from anthrax.
CBS Tonight.
Terrorists produced over 40 pounds of weaponized anthrax.
That's who come. New York's biggest threat.
These guys hate the government.
Is about to become.
It's enough to infect 500,000 people.
Sherlock Holmes' worst nightmare.
Something missing anthrax.
New Elementary. CBS Tonight. Catch up online on demand or on the CBS app.
Charles, where's Dad? Does
Doesn't he know we're shooting a new Kia commercial?
I don't know. Maybe he's in the all-new 2014 Kia Sorento?
I'll bet he's behind the wheel of a new Kia Optima. He loves that car.
Let's go find him. Is he over here?
Is he here?
Hey!
You can drive a 2014 Kia Sorento for $129 a month or a brand new Kia Optima for only $99 a month.
Shop us last. You'll love us.
Stanley Steamer Carpet Cleaning is certified by the Asthma and Allergy Foundation of America for a cleaner, healthier home. Call about our $99 carpet cleaning special.
Call 1-800-STEAMER. Stanley Steamer, your certified cleaner.
This was once my street. It's time to turn the street lights back on, to turn the close sign around. This street does have a name. This is Main Street, where we are made in America, with pride, with peace, with positive energy. Alex and Ani.
Unfortunately, I didn't reach Boylston Street, but I did end up receiving a finisher's medal for the 2013 Boston Marathon. Similarly, I received a medal from the Special Olympics, thanking me for fundraising for running in their honor. You guys want to play? With the Special Olympics, I think it's a really great example of transcending barriers, and that's something that has always been important to me. We're all in this together, and we're going to cross Boylston Street, and we're going to celebrate, all of us.
At UMass Amherst, the Commonwealth's flagship campus, we stand for progress. From the discoveries in our new life science laboratories to our graduate work in renewable energy, at UMass Amherst, we don't just think about the future of Massachusetts, we help define it.
It's award season. These awards are coveted by the entertainment industry. Well, the Chrysler Town & Country with an entertainment system and luxurious interior is coveted by, well, everyone. While awards recognize supporting roles, this plays the ultimate supporting role for your family. The Chrysler Town & Country. See it now at the Chrysler Award Season event.
Get a low-mileage lease on the 2014 Town & Country Touring for $229 a month for well-qualified lessees.
If Marathon Weekend is on the chilly side, runners are going to be able to wrap themselves in the colors of Boston Pride thanks to a talented group at the Old South Church.
In February, the church's Old South Knitters Club was asked to create scarves for this year's runners, but the club members knew they were going to need some help, so they put out a call for help. And instead of getting a few hundred, they received more than 6,000 from all over the globe.
They started trickling in, and the U.S. Postal Service would, carry a couple boxes in a day. And they now deliver here by truck every afternoon. We have, the scarf project has affected the U.S. Postal Service.
The scarves will be handed out at church events and on the street in front of the church in the days leading up to the marathon. How nice is that?
And we will have special coverage of the Day of Remembrance next Tuesday, April 15th, all day, right here on WBZ. We'll be back right after this.
Closed captioning is brought to you by the Massachusetts State University System, building the innovation economy for tomorrow's Commonwealth. Learn more at massstateuniversities.com.
Last year was one of those times where something happened that we could never have imagined. One moment you're a reporter standing on the finish line, and then in the next moment, everything changed. I think the race this year means so much more. As Boston Strong, we're going to come back from this. We're resilient. This is our race. We love this day, and so many people are really just inspired by what these runners can do. I was standing right there on the finish line last year, and I'm going to be standing right there on the finish line again this year. I'm really excited for this year's race.
Tim just refinanced his car with a DCU Second Chance car loan. He saved so much on his monthly car payment, he could afford the down payment on something a little more fun.
Termites cause structural damage, and most homeowners don't even know it's happening. Protect your investment with the Home Care Termite Program from Modern Pest Services. Call for a free, no-hassle quote over the phone. Termite problems? Not on our watch.
Looks can be deceiving. It's certainly true with furniture. Two items may appear to be the same, but are they? At Boston Interiors, all of the upholstered furniture is made in America. Each piece is crafted with high-grade American hardwood, reinforced block corners, and eco-friendly materials. So when you shop at Boston Interiors, you buy furniture that's great looking and long-lasting.
Visit Boston Interiors today and save during our spring home sale. The smarter you are about furniture, the more you'll love Boston Interiors.
I'm Teddy Bruschi. Tackling a professional football player is not easy. But tackling the high cost of healthcare, now that's easy. Just go where I go, Shields MRI. The Shields family gives you a quality MRI at a sensible price. In fact, they could save you up to $1,000 or more. So get out there and take on those high medical costs. It's easier than taking on a really big fullback. Trust me. Why overpay for an MRI? Choose to go where I go. Shields MRI.
Toyota is #1 in value, but it gets better. Because we give you all new stylish Toyotas. Better yet, we give you great deals with the Toyota Gifts of Spring Savings Event. Receive the lowest ever lease on Camry, the most dependable midsize car, for only $158 a month with no cost maintenance included. Or get best ever 0 for 60 plus $750 bonus cash on Camry. Hurry, Gifts of Spring will be wrapped up soon. Toyota, let's go places.
A wet basement can be a homeowner's worst nightmare. CrackX, industry leader in foundation crack repair, solves concrete problems permanently and affordably. Call us for a free estimate or visit us at crackx.com. CrackX, 25 years of stopping leaks, guaranteed.
Payday never seems to come soon enough. But with direct deposit and free checking from DCU, you can get access to your paycheck 2 days early. Unless, of course, you don't mind waiting.
We're hoping to give you an update on the chimps, but what we can say is that they're still on the loose.
Chimp shank redemption still going on.
Before we go, let's talk about a pretty nice evening.
It is. It's going to be a fine evening. Breezy. It's clear. The clouds are moving overnight. There'll be a couple rain showers tomorrow morning, but nothing that's going to be a big deal.
How does that story play out? Did
When
they
you
carry
invite me
something?
to this newscast, you get bad jokes. It's just going to happen.
It's been fun. I like it.
Go to the ace. Thank you for watching WBZ News at 6. Our next newscast at 10 o'clock on our
11 days until the Boston Marathon, here on WBZ.